talk about my trip to Guatemala. As many of you may know, I spent 6 weeks in Guatemala, and every time I go down there, I try and invest and love on the people and share the love of Christ with them as much as possible. But this time I found that it was opposite, and they actually shared a lot of love with me. The first thing that happened was whenever I got down to the mission village, the kids remembered who I was from the last trip. And I thought that that was really cool because there's tons of people that go to Guatemala, there's tons of people that visit those kids, and I just think it's cool that they remembered who I was and they remembered my name. Also, I got to work in the nutrition center every day, and that's where they rescue the babies and such. So my main focus whenever I was working there was the nannies, and there was one woman in particular. I hadn't got to talk to her a lot. She worked in a different room than I did, and we just hadn't had a lot of conversations. But after 4 weeks had passed by, I went in there one day, and she had on some really cute earrings, and I told her, I really like your earrings. I was like, those are really cute. I told her in Spanish, of course, and she just kind of smiled and nodded, and 5 minutes later, she came outside and she handed me those earrings, and I went, how are you feeling today? How was your day yesterday? They wanted to know about me, and they wanted to know how I was feeling and about my life, and they wanted to know how long I was staying. Like, they really enjoyed me being there, and that was a big deal because a lot of the times I felt like I would go in and I was getting in the way. But other times, towards the end of the trip, they started really asking for my help. They wanted me to do stuff with them, and they felt like I was one of the other nannies there, and I really enjoyed that. But that was just something that God showed me, was when I'm prepared to give love, the love of Christ to these people, He turns it around and He shows me His love. When I think I know what His love is, that's when I really don't. And that's when He turns it around and He shows me what His love is.
Hi, my name is Zach. This past week I went to Guatemala for 7 days, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what has changed my life while I was there. While we were there, during the week we went to the dump and fed a lot of people, and this is what's really, I've really liked while I was there, even the past time that I went. There's about 100 people that live at this dump, and a lot of them collect trash and anything they can just to make money to feed their family, and a lot of them just don't get enough meals, so that's why Herbalife normally goes out and feeds them every other day. One thing that really broke my heart was just to see how desperate they were for food, like pushing and shoving in line just to get food when we don't even think about that, even being a possibility in our life of not having food that day or water or anything.
Hi, I'm Michelle. My favorite part about Guatemala was building relationships with the people. One experience I had was one day Brandy and I were walking through the village on the way to the river, and a group of 3 boys found out that we were going, and they decided to follow us. And I was carrying a towel in my hand, and one of them grabbed it out of my hand and was like, "I'll carry this for you." So he carried it to the river for me, and then when we finished swimming, I told him that he could just keep it. And he was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" I said, yeah, it's fine. So the last night we were walking through the village, or driving through the village, and he came up to me and gave me a hug and thanked me for the towel. And I just thought it was cool that that simple thing could make such a big impact on him. I never realized that I could be so in love with the place yet so heartbroken for it at the same time.
Heads get severed, death tolls crazy like nothing on record. Civilians ain't safe, man, the troops might get ya. Can't run ahead cause them guys gon' catch ya. They never get tired, never let up. They bad up, wide up to put you on the stretcher. But is the good side tough enough?
Another story about the connection I made with the nannies is during the last week, Amy and I, another volunteer that was there with me, we decided that we were going to get some Toms that had been donated down there. And there's a little girl, Estelita, that she just had my heart. She captured my heart, and I went and I painted her hand, and and I put her handprint on my shoe, so I thought that was really cool. But I went back and I was crying, and because I had to say goodbye to her. And one of the translators, Sammy, was sitting there, and a lady that works at the nutrition center that really connected with me from day one. She was talking to Sammy, and she told Sammy that I had a good heart and that I was carrying Estelita in my heart, and now I can carry her on my feet. So that was really cool because that was my intentions, and she saw. She saw. And that was just really cool because she saw my heart and she kind of read me like a book.
Crossing they borders, invading enemy land, but they can't thwart them. A good troop betrays them and they ain't even force them, but God used that sin to support them. They captured the king next day.
To Guatemala, I feel like it's probably changed my life forever. I hope and pray that I never forget it. Of course, going there, I wanted to do whatever task they gave us to do, but my most important thing was to love these kids, which was real easy for me because I'm a mom. There was a little girl there, her name was Jocelyn, and she was 4, and I'd like to say she weighed 20 pounds, but in reality, she probably was 15 pounds. She was so fragile that when I picked her up, I was afraid of hurting her. She would just look, she wouldn't interact. She was running a fever most of the time. She was just so frail. And I would just touch her and rub her little hands and her legs and try to get her to interact with me a little bit. And then I would leave there every day crying. And when I would hold her, I would cry. And I would pray. Finally on Friday, she smiled at me. And my heart was so complete. And then on Saturday, she would look me in the eye and I would kiss her little hand and she would kind of smile and laugh. And that made the whole trip worth everything to me. And the day that we went to do the t-shirts with the kids in the village, we tie-dyed t-shirts, we handed out candy, Brad done the gospel, and some of the boys played soccer with other boys, and then there's Lester and William, and they all had a water fight and soaked Zach to the core. The biggest person in the group, they got him soaking wet. And then, if you can imagine letting your 4-year-old or your 5 or 6-year-old child go to the river by themselves, well, that's exactly what they done. We all decided to go to the river, and we was fully clothed, and we went to the river, Lester, William, and about 8 other kids, and we went swimming. It was the greatest day. It was probably the most fun I'd had in a long time. I guess my prayer is that I'm 58 years old, and I don't want to spend the rest of my life doing trivial things. I want to love and make a difference. And if there's ever an opportunity for me to go back there again, I'll be there. And I'll do what I can do. And I pray that God uses me, and I don't want to waste away the rest of my life doing nothing.